The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. These are interesting times that we are living in. Even though things are becoming so difficult, the prices of fuel are rising. In Africa, we are paying taxes for a war that we never began. This thing is also exposing a lot of things to us in Africa, because the African has been made to believe certain things. And that is the reason to which Africa, we are not ready to rise up ourselves to fight for something, because we have this notion that there are some people that have built themselves to a certain level, and it will take Africa forever to get there. And this is why the African is always not ready to even start anything because of this belief. When the epic fury started, we thought it's just an hour strike. Everything is over. Iran has been knocked out. Their top generals are taken out. Their missiles, their drones, everything has been taken out. So there's nothing left for the United States of America to hit. Then some told us that they have 2 to 3 days to finish this aggression. 2 to 3 days now, he said, in weeks. Now the same person is telling us they don't know when this thing is going to end. The same man has confessed to the whole world that these people are very smart people, because taking out the top leaders in the field, things are still intact. So this man is wondering, why so? And this is what Kwesi Pratt is touching on today, telling us and exposing a lot of things, because according to him, we are sold a different narrative of the United States of America. We are told it is the most powerful, but within the shortest possible time, according to reports, this country was running out of ammunition, to the point that they even have to call on their allies to support them in order to fight this war.
It was an element of deceit. They deceived us.
You know, he's somebody who's postured as America's the strongest nation in the world, and suddenly America's confronting the reality that we're not.
You want to understand those who are waging a war of aggression against the Iranian people? Just listen to them. Don't do anything. Just listen to them. Donald Trump came into office, and one of his first ambitions was that he wanted to seize the Panama Canal. He wanted to take it. Then he turned to Canada and says, I want Canada as the 52nd state of the United States of America. It did not end there. He says, I want Greenland. I will pay for it. But if you don't accept payment, I will use force to take Greenland from Denmark. It didn't stop from there. He looked at Cuba. And then he said, in his view, the best president for Cuba will be his foreign minister. It didn't end there. He had another dream. He said that he wanted to bring about regime change in Iran. And he said that the oppression would last 3 days. I'm sure all of us know he has succeeded. Then he said, no, not 3 days, 1 week. He said, no, not 1 week, 2 weeks. Then he said, for as long as it takes. Now he is saying that the objectives of the U.S. have been achieved, but the war has not ended yet. It will end in his own time very soon. He couldn't achieve it in 3 days. He couldn't achieve it in 1 week, in 2 weeks. But you know why he's saying that today? Because today, 75% of the American people are opposed to the war. 75% of the American people are opposed to the war. Because the lies have been exposed. Because the American people know that their president is not properly balanced. The American people cannot accept a situation in which one country can decide to kill other heads of states and other leaders in other places and so on. Today we are told that in Lebanon, war has resumed because Hezbollah launched some missiles at Israel. But we know that that is false. The war in Lebanon never stopped. Israel never respected the ceasefire. And today, as we speak, the genocide in Palestine continues. So the war never stopped. It is not Hezbollah who has reignited the war. The war never stopped. But you see, sometimes I just wonder. This level of genocide has been committed in Palestine. 75,000 people have been killed by the Zionists and their supporters. And then they say that they are now establishing a board of peace. Board of peace. There is no Palestinian on the board of peace. Netanyahu, the killer, is on the board of peace. Donald Trump is on the board of peace. Donald Trump, whose government gave all the weapons to the Israelis to commit the genocide, is on the board of peace. And the world is quiet about this atrocity. We are not complaining enough. We are not shouting enough. We are not fighting enough. That is the problem. Fortunately for us, the enemies of Palestine, the enemies of Iran, the enemies of all of us are nothing but paper tigers. The United States has never won a war. No war has the United States won. They went into Iraq claiming that they were going to discover some weapons of mass destruction. They killed 2 million Iraqis, children, women, elderly, and so on. 2 million. And then they turned around and told us that we didn't find the weapons of mass destruction. After killing 2 million Iraqis, they didn't find the weapons of mass destruction. They didn't, because there was no weapons of mass destruction. It was an element of deceit. They deceived us.
The Russians, they built their missile, but they're still in the ring training for the next one. And they were able to make this transition very rapidly, whereas the United States, we're bound by so many restrictions. It's just the nature of the business. But one of the biggest restrictions is financing. Where's the money coming from? You can't train people. You can't hire people unless you have the money. And what are you buying for? Traditionally, we don't buy large volumes of these missiles because we weren't at war. And the reality is people are going to say, Congress is going to say, how long do you expect this war to go? Once we build up our stocks, do we really need to build 4 production lines to produce these missiles, knowing that in 2 years if the rates are up, we're up, and now what do we do with these production lines? The United States doesn't mothball. We don't put things in reserve. We don't have people saying we're willing to hang around for 10 years and take a pay cut. They want to move on to getting the full pay. So this is an unrealistic plan. It hasn't been subjected to congressional scrutiny, and I don't think it'll survive.
And so that leads to the issue then in the United States then. If it still took Russia about 18 months to really get up to where they were having production at scale to be able to support the higher up tempo of the special military operation, as the Russians call it, we would seem to be in a lot more difficult position because, as you say, the president and Congress, nobody can tell them how long this is going to last. They're talking 3 to 4 weeks. That's not the kind of signal it's going to cause you to create new capacity unless you're just talking general. But something like the Russians did, they said, no, we have to get this kind of capacity. They knew, at least I would imagine, they had a pretty good idea that this was going to take a long time after the initial plan didn't work. But without those signals in the United States, I don't know how we get bigger that fast. And then we seem to have so many more constraints. I don't know that in 18 months from now, we can be at a level to where President Trump thinks we're going to be. How do you see it?
Oh, I can almost guarantee in 18 months, nothing will be coming off the production line that isn't already ready to come off the production line. There won't be a new production line. There won't be new equipment. So again, President Trump, whether this is deliberate or just based upon ignorance, he is a salesman. He is right now trying to sell a concept to a very skeptical audience, especially his political base. He's somebody who is postured as America's the strongest nation in the world, and suddenly America's confronting the reality that we're not.
Trump himself admitted that they never knew that when they strike Iran was going to strike back. So they thought that things are going to be the way they had it in Nigeria, the way they had it in Venezuela, whereby they go do whatever they want and they come back free. Nothing happens. According to what Kwesi Pratt is saying, these people are not the people that they projected themselves to us. They always try to make sure that whatever they do who? When they do you who and you run, then they get it. Because we realize that after the strikes, Trump himself came out to tell the world that, hey, I do not want you to strike back. If you do, I'm going to wipe all of you out. But Iran said, we will. And we are seeing that day in, day out, the same president who said he is the most powerful, now calling on allies to come and help the United States of America. And finally, when everybody decided to turn his or her back on him, he then come back and say, oh, even we have the most wonderful and whatever army, we don't actually need you. I was just testing you. And if you are testing them, why then do you tell us that they are going to face consequences for not helping you? And when it got to your turn for them to help you, they decided to abandon the United States of America. Africa, I hope we are learning something. But the most painful aspect is, you still find Africans who can see through anything. This is an opportunity for all Africans to open their eyes. All that we have been sold to for all these years is now right in front of us. But Africans are still finding it so difficult to understand. Even to the point that when there are things that people bring out and people need to read meanings, the African who claims he's educated will still be looking at you, pointing out things that they never said this, expecting the people to tell them that I am coming to do this to you. I wonder when the African will use the brain. I just wonder. Because people would openly tell you, this is what I am after. But the African will still tell you, but they never said this. Even when they are seeing the signs, the African is still waiting. That is what is happening to us. These people have been exposed big time. The strength, the way they projected themselves, the fear that they kept in the whole world concerning them is now right in front of us. And you still find Africans who come to the comment section to be defending these people. You find Africans who will come to you and tell you, you still don't know the power of these people. If these people want to unleash, what is it that they want to unleash? They haven't been able to do it. Iran targeted all the 27 bases in the Middle East. We have seen the fire. We have seen how Iran is destroying and making these people helpless. Using just a cheap drone made of $20. And these people are using interceptors per one. Around 2 million to 50 million US made per each to intercept just this cheap $20. And even with that, they struggle before they are able to intercept one. And with this, the African is still here, loving oppression and believing so much in these people and don't see the reason to which we should not see this as an opportunity to empower ourselves. We need to wake up. This is a new world order. Like the Finland president said, it's either we work with the world or we remain a pawn forever. And I think the youth of today, I don't think we are ready to wake up. Because the things that we still believe in us concerning these people, it's heartbreaking. The way the African loves oppression. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's colonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world. In Africa, West Africa, and in Ghana.